Death to so many people is something that some don't even want to think about in this journey of life here on earth. But just like we came through by birth to the earth, each and every human being will exit this earth by death. So whether we like it or not, no matter how unpalatable and scary it sounds in the ears, it's an inevitable experience that every individual must go through. Hello everyone, welcome back to Breakage Barriers. If this is your first time here, my name is Blessing, but you can call me Lady B. As the path of entry to the earth was through birth, so is the path of exit out of this earth through death. But the meaning of death by so many people is usually understood as the end of it all. That's the understanding of so many people. That once one dies, that's the end. Nothing to hear from that person again, nothing to do with that person anymore. It's kaput, it's finito, end of journey. That's the understanding of a lot of people about the meaning of death. But is that really the meaning of death? Because this world that we live in has got so much mystery and coded interpretation attached to it, whether you like it or not. If one perceives this world just with mere understanding of what your physical eyes can see, you have a long way to go, because there are also the spiritual meaning and mysteries attached to our existence here on earth and the world at large, which most of the answers, correct answers, can be gotten from the practice of spirituality. Depending on the individual, the meaning of death is interpreted in different ways, depending on the religion of that individual, which could be in the area of being a Muslim, being a Christian, or a Buddhist, an atheist, or even someone who practices some aspects of African spirituality. And in most of these major religions, the meaning of death is usually termed as the end of life, empirical meaning of evil or good, going to hell or heaven, transition to another realm, or even meeting with Jesus Christ after the journey here on earth. That's the belief of some individuals, depending on the type of religion practiced. In all this, one cannot categorically state if this or that or even all of it are correct or not. Though in the African spirituality, there's a lot of teaching about death in regards to spirits and the afterlife. In so much so that in the practice of the ancient African spirituality, meaningful names are given to the living being in remembrance and honor to the dead. This is how much meaning the ancient African culture attaches to death. So in the ancient African culture, Africans actually don't see death as the end. African spirituality see death as a transitioning to another realm. Not the end of that person, but the continuation of that person's life in another realm. It is the understanding that this body that we are in belongs to the earth. But without the spirit in this body that we are in, then we cannot expressly live as human beings. It is the physical body that we are in, that this coating or coat, I would say, that we are wearing, that makes us a physical human being, tangible. But without the spirit inside of this physical body, then it is assumed that the person is dead. But the African spirituality teaches that the person is not dead. It is the body or the coat, physical coat. That's the one that dies. That's the one that decays. That's the one that goes to the ground when the spirit, being the real person, leaves or separates itself from this physical body. So without the spirit, which we cannot see, which is our real self, is the spirit that is our real self, the one we can't see. I can see you because you've got a body. You can see me because I've got a body. But when people die, the body goes back to the ground. Why? Because it belongs here on earth. That's why there's a quoting that says, we come with nothing and we go with nothing. It means we came as spirit being, borrowed the body from this earth. It's on borrowing terms. We borrow the body from this earth, stay for as long as the Creator allows us to stay, and then before we leave, we take nothing with us. Not this body, not the jewelries, and nothing from the earth. Whatever is on earth belongs here on earth. This is the African teaching, which makes more sense, which gives more understanding of who I truly am, as opposed to some other religion. Yeah. So it's more like a circle. Have you heard that before? Life is a circle, not just in the physical realm, also in the spiritual realm. This is the African spirituality teaching. So this concept of, or when people die, this one goes to heaven and the other one goes to hell. But one thing for sure that makes a better understanding of this whole existence of life is that the body definitely stays here on earth and the spirit moves on. Because we have heard of instances whereby people who are still here on earth, living beings who are still here on earth, are able to communicate with the deceased family members. There are instances of that experienced by living beings all over the world. So then, if truly when people die leaving this earth, that's the end, how come the living being is still able to communicate with those who have died and left the earth if life truly does not continue? The teaching of the African spirituality is that we are energies. So when our existence here on earth fades away, expires, that same energy transitions to another realm to fulfill other purposes. Of course, depending on what type of energy that individual is, will determine what next purpose will be fulfilled. If it's a positive energy or a negative energy. Does that not make a better understanding which the African spirituality unfolds about our existence here on earth? So you see, in the African spirituality, these deceased people are never forgotten. They are always remembered. And even in terms of naming a living being, it is the understanding that those who are dead, some do come back here on earth. The teaching is that there is reincarnation, that we live forever, not on this earth, but in continuation into another realm for other purposes. And in some cases, reincarnate to even come back to this earth. And so you see in some African cultures where people name their children as, oh, mother has come back, or father has come back, or sister has come back, and that name is interpreted as such. In the Yoruba language, one of it is called Iyabode, which means mother has come back. And that's just an example, because we have other languages all over Africa which the same meaning is interpreted in such languages. Hence, death is not the end as currently understood by some, but the continuation of life of the spirit, which some religion call the breath. The spirit is actually the breath, because without the spirit, then the body does not have breath. So the spirit continues. But what that spirit now represents during its lifetime here on earth will determine if it's a positive energy or a negative energy. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Take care now.